Hello, everybody, and a pleasant good afternoon, evening, or wherever you may be all around the world. I'm Ben Charles. This is another edition of Rasslin and Logic Extra. This is AEW Dynamite from November 2nd, 2022, from the Chesapeake Arena in Baltimore, Maryland. There was a lot of interesting things that happened on AEW Dynamite. Oh, and for the record, by the way, before I begin, Jade Cargill and Marina Shafir, that match will get reviewed in its entirety. And we're going to go into the rest of the show. The first match on the show was Darby Allin versus Jay Lethal with Satnam Singh and Sanjay Dutt, who need to get off my fucking television. There's a lot of that tonight, by the way. Excalibur, Tony Schiavone, and Taz were on commentary. Good. Keep those three guys on commentary. Anyway, Darby Allin and Jay Lethal, first match on the show. Darby Allin whipped Lethal into the steel guardrail. Satnam stepped in the way of Darby and Lethal, preventing Darby from hitting a tope. Lethal catapulted Darby into the ring steps, which looked awesome. Lethal locked in the figure four outside the ring, and then Lethal stomped on the back of Darby Allin's knee. Jay Lethal dumped Darby with a German on the ring apron, which was gnarly. But you know what? This was actually a good match. Lethal was looking to drop the King's Elbow, which is what he calls it, but Darby countered with a crucifix for a 2 count. Darby avoided the lethal injection and counter with a rear naked choke. Darby Allin does not do a lot of rear naked chokes, but he did one here. Jay Lethal got to his feet and backed Darby into the turnbuckles. Darby then released the choke and came over the top with the Stun Dog Millionaire to Jay Lethal. Darby rocketed out of the ring with a tope suicida at Satnam Singh, but Satnam Singh did not budge. And then the referee ejected Satnam Singh and Sanjay Dutt from ringside. So the referee actually doing his goddamn job. Satnam Singh and Sanjay Dutt, get the fuck off my TV. I've said that twice already. Give me a break. I don't care. Anyway, a man in Sting's coat wearing a Sting mask distracted Darby. While Lethal hit Darby Allin with a bat, he distracted the referee, not Darby Allin. Then he hit the lethal injection, and Jay Lethal pins Darby Allin clean. Jay Lethal finally gets a fucking win on AEW Dynamite, but the one problem is no one fucking cares. Because the imposter Sting went into the ring, the man unmasked, it was Cole Carter from the factory. First of all, before I go into everything else, Cole Carter was in a Sting mask, and Cole Carter got zero reaction. No fucking reaction. None. Who the fuck is Cole Carter? Oh, wait. That's right. Isn't he the guy from NXT when he was Two Stacks? Two Stacks, I believe his name was originally Troy Donovan, then they changed his name to Cole Carter. Well, whoever the fuck it was, Cole Carter got zero reaction at all. It was a joke. It's ridiculous. And then, as if Cole Carter is not get off my TV enough, Jeff Jarrett jumped into the ring. Jeff Jarrett is employed in All Elite Wrestling. We're not even 15 minutes into this show, and this show was fucking atrocious already. Why is Jeff Jarrett still employed? Why? Jeff Jarrett attacked Darby with a guitar shot. Jeff Jarrett actually cut a promo. Darby Allin, you just got a lesson from the last outlaw. The last outlaw? What the fuck kind of nickname is that? I'm not even going to continue with the rest of the promo because, first of all, Jeff Jarrett should not be on fucking television. He says, whatever you worship, Darby, becomes your weakness. Sting is his weakness. First of all, what? Sting is Darby Allin's weakness? Are Are you fucking kidding me? Darby Allin is now in a feud with Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, and fucking Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh. Are you fucking kidding me? Tony Khan, you got a lot of explaining to do. Why the fuck is Jeff Jarrett on my fucking television? This show sucked! Jay Lethal versus Darby Allin. The match was actually a decent match. The match is getting a 5. And Logic, I'll give it a 6 because Jay Lethal actually got a win on this show. And second of all, I don't understand why it took a fucking fake sting to distract Darby Allin when no one cared who the fuck it was. Cole Carter from the factory. Who? Jeff Jarrett is still fucking employed. What is this? What is this? What is this? WCW 1999 all over again? Who's writing this shit? Vince Russo? This show sucks. Jon Moxley versus Lee Moriarty with Stokely Hathaway. AEW World Championship Eliminator match. Why the fuck did Lee Moriarty get a fucking AEW Eliminator match? Why? What the fuck has Lee Moriarty done to earn an Eliminator title shot? Nothing! Nothing! Not a goddamn thing! What the fuck has he done? This show was fucking miserable. Terrible show. Moxley beat the fucking piss out of Lee Moriarty. The match went 8 minutes, Jon Moxley won. 0 rating. Ethan Page split into the ring and blindsided Jon Moxley. Oh, and finally Ethan Page was on TV. Finally he was on TV. Thank you, Tony Khan. Unfortunately, this show was fucking awful. Britt Baker had 4 segments tonight. 4! Not 3, not 5, not 6. 4 segments. This show sucks. Britt Baker sat down with Saraya with Renee Paquette. Except Britt Baker didn't show up. She showed up late. No one fucking cared about this segment. Saraya says Britt Baker does not care. She should be lucky she even had this interview. But there's something special about AEW and I wanted to be a part of it. She says she's going to save this for next week because there's one more doctor I'm going to consult on this, and that is Dr. Sampson in AEW. So Saraya is trying to get herself cleared on the AEW doctors. Well, good. But Saraya, we did not ask for Saraya versus Britt Baker for Full Gear, which is where this is fucking going. This is a disgrace. This shit sucks. Tony Schiavone with William Regal. Regal, you still have a long way to go. Dear Max, at Full Gear, all the potential in the world won't help you when you become the AEW World Champion, when you have to face a real demon in Jon Moxley. William Regal's promo was one of the best things about this entire show. All you need to know. Daddy Ass Birthday Bash. Oh my fucking God, this segment. This shit wasted 10 minutes of our fucking time. The Acclaimed came out. Billy's hands were all taped up from Swerve's attack last week on Rampage, which, by the way, I did not review Rampage last week. Anthony Bones says it's been a very tough week for us all because last week Swerve did some damage to Billy Gunn's fingers and now he can't. So Max Caster got some foam fingers instead, and they want to give Billy Gunn a gift. They have one final gift. Max and I have filed a ton of paperwork, and we have a certificate of adoption. All we need is a signature from you. Billy Gunn says, I get to be your daddy? To both of them? First of all, stop right here. Stop right here. Billy Gunn, get off my television. Get the fuck off my TV. I cannot believe this was an actual segment. And then another get off my TV. Oh my goodness, the fucking Gun Club. The Gun Club and W. Morrissey, as a part of the firm, they attacked the Acclaimed. This show sucks. FTR came out and they attacked everybody. What a miserable show. We're not even halfway through the show. Tony Schiavone backstage. Tony Schiavone, by the way, had 3 segments tonight. Britt Baker, backstage interview. She says, welcome to my interview on my time. We just want to wrestle, and they want to tag team on Friday. Madison Rayne and Sky Blue on Rampage. First of all, when the fuck did Madison Rayne and Sky Blue become a tag team? When? This show sucks. Chris Jericho versus a former Ring of Honor champion, Colt Boom Boom Cabana. Jesus Christ. Chris Jericho versus Colt Cabana. All you need to know is that Jericho went for the walls early on, but Colt crowned with an inside credit for a near fall. By the way, this match went relatively 7 minutes. No one cared about this match. And number 2, get Ring of Honor stuff off TV. I'm going to say this for probably the last time on this show. Get Ring of Honor off AEW TV. ASAP. Colt Cabana put Jericho in the Billy Goat's Curse, which is a reverse Boston Crab. Colt attempted a Superman pin, but Hager grabbed Colt Cabana, which should have been a disqualification. It was not a DQ. Colt moonsaulted onto Jake Hager and Daniel Garcia. And then back in the ring, Jericho hit Colt Cabana with a ridiculous-looking cold breaker, which looked awful, by the way. Pinned the guy 1, 2, 3. The match went 7 minutes. This match is going to get rating for wrestling. I'll give it probably a 4. And Logic, I'll give it a 2 because, first of all, Colt Cabana should have not been out here. Number 2, why did he get a Ring of Honor World Championship match? What the fuck has Colt Cabana done to get a title shot? Nothing. Matt Menard and Angelo Parker grabbed Ian Riccaboni. Claudio tackled Jericho. Bryan Danielson came out to help Claudio. Wheeler Yuta ran out, and it was the Blackpool Combat Club against the Jericho Appreciation Society until security separated two. By the way, the Blackpool Combat Club and Jericho Appreciation Society are still feuding. These men have been feuding since April. End this feud. It's November. And here's another championship match. These two men didn't even deserve a title shot. Orange Cassidy versus Ray Phoenix versus Luchasaurus. First of all, Ray Phoenix did not do anything to get a title shot. Luchasaurus said that he wanted a title shot. Look, I get it, but that does not mean give them a title shot. Luchasaurus, as I said last week, he hasn't even beaten any legitimate opponents. He hasn't even beaten Pentagon. What the fuck has he done to get a title shot? Nothing. All you need to know, Orange Cassidy won. I'm not even going to go through the rest of the match. Because it took one forearm to put down Ray Phoenix. One. The orange punch. It took one forearm. You mean to tell me that Ray Phoenix loses to a damn flying forearm? And you expect me not to say nothing? Rasslin, I'll give it a 5.5. This was actually the second best match on the show. In my opinion. This was the second best match on the show. Ray Phoenix, Luchasaurus, and Orange Cassidy. I'll give it a 6 for this. Rasslin 6, Logic 1 because Orange Cassidy won a match. That's the only rating I'm going to give. First, Jungle Boy came out and beat the hell out of Luchasaurus. Pac ran to a ring and handed a ring bell to Ray Phoenix, but Ray Phoenix wanted no part of it. He tossed it back to Pac, and then back in the ring, Orange hit Ray with the orange punch and pinned. Pac jumped in the ring and tagged Orange Cassidy. Katsuyori Shibata, Rocky Romero and the Best Friends came to the ring, and Pac retreated. And Katsuyori Shibata from New Japan signed a contract. He will face Orange Cassidy this Friday on Rampage. I like Katsuyori Shibata from New Japan, but first of all, I don't want to see this goddamn match between him and Orange Cassidy. I'm not reviewing Rampage. Absolutely not. If y'all think I'm reviewing Rampage, cut the shit. Oh, and speaking of cut the shit, Jade Cargill versus The Problem, Marina Shafir. This was, once again, the semi-main event of this piece of fucking garbage-ass show. This show sucks. Jade Cargill versus Marina Shafir. This match went 2.5 minutes. The crowd died 1,000 deaths. Nyla Rose had a live microphone. Vicky Guerrero came out. She was doing live commentary to distract Jade Cargill. Marina lost in 2.5 minutes. Jade Cargill hit Jaded on her and pinned the bitch. For the first time in the history of Rasslin and Logic Extra, one match last week got 0 rating, and now this match in the semi-main event of this fucking garbage AEW Dynamite is also getting no rating. 0-0. Back-to-back weeks. Tony Khan, I don't know what you smoking backstage. You need serious help, bro. If you think Jade Cargill and Marina Shafir deserved to be in the semi-main event before Ray Fenix, Luchasaurus, and Orange Cassidy, before Samoa Joe and Brian Cage, which is our main event tonight, before goddamn Chris Jericho in the semi-main event, and Jon Moxley, who was on the second match of this show, you mean to tell me Jade Cargill and Marina Shafir deserved a match, the semi-main event spot, before Jon Moxley? I don't know what you smoking backstage, bro. But whatever you is smoking backstage, I don't want no part of it. This show was goddamn fucking miserable. Miserable. This may be the worst Dynamite all year. This show sucked 1,000 deaths. Baltimore, Maryland, all of you people over there in Baltimore, y'all should have gotten y'all goddamn refunds because this was a piece of shit AEW Dynamite tonight. This was a disgrace of the highest order. A disgrace. This was embarrassing. What a miserable AEW show. Terrible show. Samoa Joe, Brian Cage in the main event for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. This was actually, I'm going to change my opinion about this. Remember when I said the All-Atlantic Championship match was the second best match on the show? This was the best match on the show. Easily the best match on the show. So I'm actually going to go over this match. Samoa Joe dared Brian Cage. Joe accepted and Cage didn't budge. Samoa Joe tried again and steamrolled Brian Cage with a clothesline. Samoa Joe jabbed at Brian Cage. Joe used a snapmare and an elbow drop. Prince Nana, by the way, Brian Cage is a part of the Embassy now. Back in my Death Before Dishonor review, he joined him. Cage took advantage of the distraction. Cage kicked Samoa Joe in the gut and then took the champ on the feet with a clothesline. Cage sent Samoa Joe flying with a German. Brian Cage did a flip over the top rope, a barrel roll over the top, and crashed onto Joe. Samoa Joe got to his feet, hit Cage with heavy chops, and hit him with, and it was a 2 count. Out of nowhere, Cage gained the upper hand, jumping off the top rope and with a body splash across body on Samoa Joe for a near fall. Brian Cage spiked Samoa Joe with a pump handle slam for a near fall. Brian Cage smacked Samoa Joe with the discus lariat. Joe locked Brian Cage in the guillotine. Not the guillotine, pardon me. The rear naked choke thing. And the Brian Cage tapped out. So Brian Cage lost within a matter of about, 11, 12 minutes? This was the best match on the show. Easily the best match on the show. Gates of Agony came out. The other members of the Embassy jumped in the ring. Gates of Agony is Khan and Loa, if I'm not mistaken. One of those two. Gates of Agony and the other members of the Embassy jumped into the ring and attacked Samoa Joe. Wardlow came down, chased off the Embassy, retreated when facing with the prospect of facing Wardlow, and then Powerhouse Hobbs from behind ambushed Wardlow and planted him with the spine buster. Will Hobbs holds up the TNT Championship. And that is how the show goes off the air. This show sucked. What a fucking miserable show this was. I'm not even making this up. I'm not even being negative. This show was god-awful. Darby Allin versus Jay Lethal. I gave Rasslin a 5 and Logic a 6 because Jay Lethal won a match. Finally. Jon Moxley and Lee Moriarty. I gave that a, what did I give that? A 5? Yeah, I gave it a 5, and Logic, I gave it a 2. Because Ethan Page came out and attacked Moxley after the match, and then Lee Moriarty lost. That's the only reason, that's like the only reason why I'm giving it that rating. Daddy Ass's birthday bash. I need to stop saying that. Billy Gunn's birthday bash. First of all, no rating. Actually, that was the segment. But that's still, if I had to rate it, that would get a 0 rating because the Gun Club and W. Morrissey was on my TV. Chris Jericho, Cole Cabana. The match is getting a 5 and Logic a 2. Orange Cassidy, Ray Phoenix versus Luchasaurus, the second best match on this show. I gave it a 5.5, and Logic, I gave it a 1 because Orange Cassidy won a match. Jay Cargill versus Marina Shafir, 0 rating. Samoa Joe, Brian Cage, I gave it a 6, and Logic, I'll give it a 3 because Samoa Joe and Brian Cage, this was another Ring of Honor match for no reason. We had 2 Ring of Honor matches tonight for no reason. Who asked for this shit? And I wanna point something out here before I go. Jay Cargill and Marina Shafir had one of the worst goddamn matches I have ever seen in my entire life. I don't care what no one says. Jade Cargill needs to get the fuck off my TV. ASAP, her, Marina Shafir, Nyla Rose, Vicky Guerrero, all 4 of you women get off my television. All 4 of you add no value to the women's division. No value to this show. Get off my fucking television. This show sucked. This died 1,000 deaths. And as I said earlier on, Baltimore, Maryland, you motherfuckers over there should have gotten y'all goddamn money back. I cannot believe you people actually paid $50 for this fucking piece of shit show. This show was an absolute embarrassment to everybody in All Elite Wrestling. You're lucky next week we're going to be in Boston next week. And I don't even like that show next week. Look at the card for that show next week. I don't even know if I'm even going to review next week's show. But I do know one thing. This show was fucking god-awful. Tony Khan, you need to stop booking AEW in every shape and form. Have William Regal book AEW, bro. Because this shit ain't it. What a fucking terrible piece of garbage, miserable AEW Dynamite. Jeff Jarrett is still fucking employed. Actually, Jeff Jarrett is employed. He's the director of business development. First of all, Jeff Jarrett wouldn't know to run a business if it bit him in the ass. This man single-handedly destroyed TNA. Single-handedly, by himself. And you mean to tell me this man is still employed, and you found the actual credentials for this man to be fucking employed in All Elite Wrestling? I'm done. That's the rest of the review. I'm done. I'm not even going to talk about Raw SmackDown. Raw sucked. It was 3 hours, and it was too long. I'm not even going to talk about it. Miserable show. Anyway, everybody, that's Rasslin and Logic Extra. See y'all next week. Show sucks.